Now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome. This is Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I am Mamode Akuga. Over the years, Nigeria's Niger Delta region has been engulfed in an oil-fueled crisis as a result of agitations from the peoples of the region for a better deal from the exploration and exploitation of hydrocarbons in their land. They accuse not just the federal government, but the international oil companies of neglecting them and destroying their environment. They say their region, which supplies Nigeria's foreign earnings in its monoproduct economy, is today environmentally endangered, crisis-ridden, conflict-prone, and poverty-stricken. The Niger Deltans believe that a little sensitivity on the part of even the oil companies can easily transform their region. Amongst their many demands to the federal government and the oil companies is the need for greater participation in the oil and gas sector. They say for them, this has become their last hope in the quest to use the oil wealth to develop their region. They point to an indigenous firm owned by a Niger Deltan, BelemaOil Producing Limited, which in 2 short years of operations has positively affected the lives of the peoples of its host communities. Today on the program, we're bringing to you a special package which we have titled Addressing the Niger Delta Question, the BelemaOil Model.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Since 1956, when crude oil was discovered in Oloibiri Bayelsa State and later in most parts of the Niger Delta region, the people of the oil-bearing communities had hoped for an improvement in their socio-economic well-being, but have continuously expressed disappointment and frustration with the seeming inability of the oil companies and the federal government to extend to their communities the benefits of the huge petrodollars raked in from crude oil production. Over the decades, this situation had left the Niger Delta embroiled in an oil-fueled crisis as a result of the people's constant agitations for a change of their predicament. The absence of critical infrastructure, basic social amenities, as well as widespread unemployment have combined to fuel poverty in the oil-rich region. The people's resistance to this perceived neglect and environmental degradation has over time set them on a collision course with both the federal government and the oil companies operating in their lands. The prevailing hostile conditions consequently created in the Niger Delta an atmosphere of insecurity that continues to scare away prospective investors in Nigeria's hydrocarbon industry, even as it takes a huge toll on daily crude oil production capacity. So far, it has been a lose-lose situation for the federal government, which has lost huge revenues to incessant acts of economic sabotage on crude oil and gas platforms in recent past, and the communities themselves, which have remained largely underdeveloped on account of insecurity. Determined to change the existing narrative, an indigenous firm and new entrant into the oil and gas sector, BelemaOil Producing Limited, has come to make a difference in the lives of the people, as evident in its community relations approach. This approach is hinged on a strategic engagement plan which has come to be known as the BelemaOil Model. The company's amiable founder and president, Jack Richtain Jr., offers an insight into the BelemaOil model of community engagement.
The BelemaOil model is all about making sure that the local communities where we operate and competent Niger Deltans are given technical opportunities to showcase their competencies, such as alliance with technical competent companies that provide specialized type of jobs where they can partner with them and begin to provide those services. We also make sure that we create strategic capacity development through training for the local communities, vendors that provides technical services for us. We also advise them to train a lot of locals, which is going on pretty well today. We also believe that some of those who want to go into some type of businesses are supported through our schemes. They are giving grants to people to go into those businesses, and also to making sure that we go into full hydrocarbon value creation chain.
The BelemaOil model recognizes the urgent need to drastically reduce tension and friction in the communities with the provision of education, entrepreneurial and vocational training and employment for the youths in OML 55, where it currently operates. As part of the company's effort to provide employment, youths were engaged to provide local security surveillance for its facilities. And by April this year, it had engaged more than 3,000 youths in its direct employment drive, while about 36,000 skilled and unskilled jobs were also created. Earlier in January this year, the company stated its plan to create additional 12,000 jobs through foreign direct investments. In the area of human capacity development, the company last year rolled out the 2017 NNPC BelemaOil Joint Venture Host Communities Scholarship Awards to some 374 beneficiaries in the postgraduate, undergraduate and post-primary categories. In continuation of its annual scholarship awards for the year 2018 and 2019, BelemaOil Producing Limited recently sponsored some young women of River State origin to study at the undergraduate and graduate levels in reputable universities abroad. Beaming with smiles at the time of their departure to Ghana and the United Kingdom, respectively, the scholarship grant recipients promised to make their state and country proud and return for their studies abroad.
I'm a graduate from University of Calabar, and I'll be studying Masters in International Relations in the University of Northampton, UK. I am very excited. I can't begin to explain how excited I am. This is a big-time opportunity that I wouldn't have achieved on my own.
I've just finished my BSc in Human Resource Management in Accra, Ghana. We promise to work hard, study very well, and come back with a good results. So the company will realize that the value added to us has also been returned to them.
I'm going to be studying International Relations in University of Northampton.
I hold a bachelor's degree in banking and finance from River State University. I'll be going to study masters in accounting and finance in Northampton, sponsored by BelemaOil.
The award of scholarship, which cost BelemaOil Producing Limited not less than 100 million naira annually, is part of its social investment policy implemented to promote education and offer assistance to its host communities.
NNPC is supporting them all the way to make the lives of our host communities better and to give them a better livelihood. We're investing a lot in the education of our host communities and the nation at large. If you're able to educate the children at a young age, you rest assured that our future is sustained.
BelemaOil's social investment policy also covers the provision of public utilities, which are almost non-existent in some oil-producing communities. For the first time in the history of the oil-rich Kula Kingdom, the people now have access to potable drinking water, courtesy of a water scheme initiated and executed last year by BelemaOil Producing Limited. At the moment, the water project in Kula has been further upgraded with the installation of a galvanized 1.5 million litre water tank facility in the oil-rich community.
All this while they have been telling me BelemaOil has provided water. So went out for a seminar in South Africa to inspect whatever thing. So in continuation, I'm in Kula Kingdom to confirm by myself, and I'm testing the water, which is a nice water that it can even make me not to buy any pure water in Port Harcourt to Kula community again. So for me, I'm going to tell everybody not to waste their time again, because it's a solid water produced by BelemaOil, one of the best water in the South for Kula Kingdom, to make use of it for the life of all sons and daughters of this kingdom. So will Almighty God give strength to BelemaOil, give him wisdom, more knowledge to do more things for this community.
In the same Kula Kingdom, BelemaOil has embarked on a massive project that will connect it by road to neighboring towns and villages and open it for further development.
We deployed so much equipment to this site, and we have created the canal. Is open right now. Now, within this dry season, we are mobilizing contractors. We're going to bring in the sand and the chippings to then start up the major construction itself.
Recently, BelemaOil demonstrated its commitment to constant technological improvement, which can also benefit its host communities when it took delivery of the leader dredger all the way from China. Currently, the biggest in the country, the 22-inch dredger is fully air-conditioned and computerized with state-of-the-art equipment designed to operate in difficult terrains. The leader dredger has a seaside design that enables it to withstand turbulence in its offshore operations. Undoubtedly, the first of its kind in the country, the dredger is equally designed to operate onshore and has the capacity to deliver a minimum of 800 cubic feet of sand per hour. It's a new sensation in the dredging business, made user-friendly and can work for 24 hours non-stop. The true beauty of the leader dredger isn't just about how it looks or feels like, but how it actually works.
Equipped with an anchor boom system. So there is the things that there is no stressful job for the workers on board. The operator has to do the major job here in terms of picking the anchor to position the equipment. He has to do the job. So there is no this equipment will not have any challenge. It's just good for the terrain.
The recent acquisition of the leader dredger is in line with BelemaOil's organizational objective of ensuring equipment availability and reliability with a view to adding value to its operations in the Niger Delta. When it becomes fully operational, the dredger will be used for navigation and emplacement of structures such as pipelines and tunnels. In addition, this all-important equipment will be used to excavate silt underwater for the purpose of land reclamation, development, and urbanization of the communities playing host to BelemaOil Producing Limited.
We are taking this dredger to Kola, Robokiri, where we have major operations. We want to develop that place to a mega city, a place where people will know that BelemaOil present is there. We don't want to operate like others that will take caravan and go to that place and keep, after 12, 10, 15 years, they will remove the caravan and go, and you will not know that a company has been there. And we don't, that is not our objective. Our major objective of BelemaOil is to go there, develop in wherever we are operating from. People will know that BelemaOil is there.
At BelemaOil, the organizational strategy places premium on the deployment of competent and highly motivated workforce in all departments, with training and retraining to sustain its world-class performance. Conscious of the need to make its host communities benefit from its manpower utilization, the company recently trained some 31 youths in the assemblage of 2 units of the cutter dredger acquired from a Chinese firm. Expatriates were brought in to engage the beneficiaries in the first phase of the training exercise. The youths expressed profound gratitude to BelemaOil for offering them a lifetime opportunity.
For 3 weeks, we have 31 persons trained to man this dredger. As it is living here, it is going to live here with the trainees because they are fully armed, they are equipped to serve and to operate this dredger fully to the best of its capacity.
I feel very glad I'm privileged enough to be one of the trainees. It's an opportunity for me to learn some of the equipment I'm not familiar with. Like the solenoids, I'm not familiar with it, but as I came on board, I'm able to identify with them.
I want to say a big thank you to BelemaOil and a big thank you, and God should bless him, because ordinarily if you look out for jobs that we've been looking for jobs, both qualified and unqualified, what you hear in newspaper, 5 years experience, 6 years experience, for goodness sake, plus age bracket. It has been a barrier for we. A lot of us, our age and maybe qualification and all those things, we've not worked in a place for a very long time. But now this time around, he has the patience to bring us from the scratch, train us and make us have a career in life. I think I say a big thank you to him, and once more, God should bless him.
Also, some youths were recently trained in the area of firefighting to complement not just the firefighting force in the oil and gas industry, but the society at large. And to ensure that they were trained in up-to-date current skills of firefighting, an instructor was brought in from the United States of America.
I'm very satisfied with the demonstration this morning, and I think all of these folks here are good basic level firefighters, yes.
The basic firefighting training that has been given to us, we are competent to handle any level of fire on the basic level. whether by instructor or we alone handle it on our own. There is no phobia. Everything that is connected to a preliminary stage of a fireman setback, we have overcome it. Our instructor has given us a very grounded foundation that will give us enablement to handle any fire on a basic level.
I'm sure you must have seen our firefighting equipment. It's unique in Rivers State. That's what informed it, to make sure that the lives, human assets, material assets will be safe.
The success story of BelemaOil Producing Limited in the Niger Delta began in 2013 when it acquired the entire 40% participating interest in OML 55 and thus became a joint venture partner with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC). It is on record that barely a month after Chevron successfully handed over the operation of OML 55 in 2016, the indigenous oil giant had increased its daily production to 3,000 barrels of crude oil. This came as no surprise, as the company had from the outset designed a clear-cut operational philosophy of developing superior performance techniques and best practices to become a leading player in the oil and gas industry beyond the shores of the African continent. For BelemaOil, it is not just about raking in billions of petrodollars from the extraction of the black gold. Rather, it is about plowing back the substantial dividends accruing from crude oil and gas sales to its host communities. In keeping with his belief in the saying, "Let love lead," the founder of BelemaOil a few months back had cause to extend his philanthropy beyond the shores of the Niger Delta, as the Belema Aid and Jack Rich Tien Foundation successfully delivers several water projects in faraway Daura community and environs in Katsina State, northwest Nigeria. This laudable initiative was undertaken not only to provide clean drinking water, but to improve sanitation, reduce outbreak of epidemics, and improve the people's quality of life, in line with the target of Goal 6 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
We have Daura Water Station 1, close to Daura Helipad. It has a total of 100,000 liters capacity, 40,000 untreated raw water tanks, 20,000 treated, and 40,000 overhead tanks. This is to service the area around the helipad and the communities around. Embedded in this water station is a 3-way water treatment plant that has the capacity to remove every iron, to remove lead content and heavy minerals present in the water. In this building, we also have a mechanical room, an electrical room, and a plumbing room. We have en-suite rooms that are meant for the workers who will maintain and manage this system. Meanwhile, this system, like you can see, there's no electric pole, is fully powered by solar system.
We are highly celebrate on that Belema, and we are highly grateful, thanks him on that contribution that gives to the people. Kai, it's very sweet.
It is interesting to note that BelemaOil has achieved so much with regard to community development in just 2 years of its operations of OML 55, which is not even among the major oil mining leases currently existing in the Niger Delta. As a matter of fact, the BelemaOil model of engagement with its host communities have created a new sense of awareness amongst the people, pointing to the fact that they can gain so much from an oil company provided it is willing and able to carry out its corporate social responsibility in accordance with global best practices.
You don't have to have all the money on earth before you start massive development, but you have to have the willpower. Now, whatever you get, gradually you are building up. If you check the way this project started, they started gradually and is building up. And we know that it will gather momentum at a point we'll start having foreign investors into this place.
Desirous of having same model of development replicated in their land, the neighboring communities of Belema, Ofonyama, Ngeje, and a host of others in OML 25 last year made a strong case for BelemaOil to take over the operations of the BelemaOil field in their domain. The communities, on sensing that the original operator, Shell Petroleum Development Company SPDC of OML 25, was planning to sell off its interest in the mining lease as part of its divestment policy in the Niger Delta, had put up a stiff resistance to the alleged plan. The Belema flow station was in August last year occupied by women protesting the planned sale of OML 25 to an operator which they say may leave them in what they refer to as perpetual misery. The women are still occupying the platform till date, in defiance of pressures from security operatives to quit the premises. Like their male counterparts in the landlord communities of OML 25, the protesting women are insisting that BelemaOil, which is owned by their kinsman, Jack Richtain Jr., who has demonstrated capacity and competence in the operation of OML 55, should be given the right of first refusal to operate OML 25 in the event of Shell's withdrawal from the mining lease.
We want government to remove Shell, let Shell people go, then they give to another person where we want. The person where we want tonight, they will give to.
We have our own indigenous company that has all the relevant credentials. Belema Oil and Gas. It is an indigenous community. It is an indigenous company. It is part and parcel of us. We want to use that company to develop our environment. And that is why we are stating categorically that now that the lease to SPDC on this right-of-way here has expired, and the proposed divestment, which we hear that they are planning to divest to their cronies and their friends, CRESPA, we are stating here that such divestment must be transferred to Belema Oil and Gas.
Other notable Niger Deltans have also lent their voice to the demand by the women of the host communities of OML 25.
The managing director or chairman of that company comes from that area, Belema. He's a native. In fact, he's operating a similar oil field, very close to that very one. And his home is in that very place. But Shell prefers giving it out to another Nigerian from Southwest. And we said, no. This young man is successfully operating one already in the area. Why not give him the second one?
The communities are only simply saying, let us have a say in who comes in here. That's what they are saying. And I think they are right. But again, they need to play the politics. Because there is oil politics. They need to play the politics. It doesn't need to be violently done unless you get involved in the politics of oil. And if they do it well, they can get it.
While the host communities may have granted BelemaOil their social license to operate OML 25, the indigenous oil giant cannot commence operations without a legal license from the federal government to take over the disputed oil mining lease. The conflicting interests of the communities and that of the departing SPDC on one hand and the federal government on the other hand over the ownership and control of OML 25 looks every inch like another brewing tension in the Niger Delta. Perhaps in acceding to the demands of their agitating communities, the federal government will have demonstrated its willingness to make them part owners of the oil wealth generated in their lands and further douse the current tension occasioned by feelings of economic exclusion in the area. Moreover, allowing the collective wish of the people to prevail in the control of OML 25 will afford BelemaOil the opportunity to reenact its towering achievements in OML 55 and a second opportunity to drastically transform operations in the oil and gas industry. So far, BelemaOil Producing Limited, a new entrant into the oil and gas industry, has been diligent in its operations and very much alive to its corporate social responsibility and is willing to do even more. The reason for this uncommon achievement is not far-fetched. The company's priority has been to carefully manage the interest and very high expectations of all stakeholders, including host communities, through a process of open communication or direct engagement. The BelemaOil model of community engagement, without a shadow of doubt, provides the panacea to the tripartite challenges of poverty, conflict, and underdevelopment that have for too long bedeviled Nigeria's oil-rich but backward Niger Delta region. Well, that's our package on the program for today. We only hope that the federal government will accede to the request of those Niger Deltans and indeed license BelemaOil producing to operate OML 25, at least to give the people some kind of sense of belonging. My name is Mahmoud Akuga. Thank you all so much for watching Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Of course, same time, same station. I'll be back here to bring you more developments from inside the Niger Delta. Bye for now.